From an angry daughter to a psychotic aunt, 40 years between nominations led to a win. We are now in a new season of Oscar Rewind, and I am looking at Bud Yorkin Productions' Twice in a Lifetime. Written by Colin Welland, based on a teleplay he wrote for the TV show Play for Today, and directed by Bud Yorkin, the film premiered at the 1985 Seattle Film Festival before its release later that year. What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike here, and it is Season 3 of Oscar Rewind, where I look back at the films of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. Do me a favor, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these throwbacks. We're just getting into it. We are in Chapter 1 of this year's Rewind, which we are entitling Before the Oscar. Specifically, I'm looking at the early work of the individuals who won the biggest prizes of the year: picture, director, acting, writing. And today, I am looking at the first Oscar-nominated turn from this year's Best Supporting Actress winner, Amy Madigan. If you've never seen this one, here's a quick spoiler-free setup. Harry Mackenzie, played by Gene Hackman, is a steel worker living a stable, comfortable, and unsatisfying life with his wife Kate, played by Ellen Burstyn. As he turns 50 and celebrates with his family, including 2 of his 3 children, Sonny, played by Amy Madigan, and Helen, played by Ali Sheedy, he prepares for the next chapter of his life. While out for birthday drinks with his friends, he meets Audrey, played by Anne Margaret, and the two begin an affair. Now, Audrey knows Harry has a family, but Harry insists that he's unhappy. Now, as you can imagine, this decision does not go over well, and the ripple effects hit everybody. As Harry moves forward, Kate is left to figure out her own path, and both begin to question what comes next, and can there be a path to a reconciliation. This is an interesting film. Unlike many of its counterparts of the era, mid-80s, this film ages particularly well in several veins. It really presents a more honest look at relationships by giving us multiple perspectives of the situation. Rather than focusing solely on Harry, we also get to spend time with Kate as she processes everything that she's going through. And we also see how the situation affects the daughters. That added perspective helps ground the story and make the emotional fallout feel more complete. The performances, these are strong across the board. Hackman, he underplays the role from the normal intensity we see from him, giving us an everyman who feels believable even when making questionable decisions. And while I am not condoning adultery, this film does a good job of showing how honesty, or the lack of it, shapes the outcome. It's more than just a libido thing. So, and I'm not saying I necessarily agree, but, we see why things are happening. And to be fair, right on the counterbalance, Burstyn brings a balance of that vulnerability and strength that keeps her from falling into cliche. And Margaret, a little more limited in screen time, but she gets enough to make her presence felt, and you understand where she is in the story and more than just the other woman. Of the daughters, Sheedy plays things a bit more reserved, not as much prominence there, which really allows Madigan the chance to stand out, right? And she's the reason why we're here discussing her. Welland gives Sonny just enough backstory to justify her reactions, and Madigan delivers a performance that feels raw and honest without tipping into melodrama. Whether she's venting her frustrations or confronting her father, she keeps the character grounded, and you can absolutely see why this was an Oscar-nominated performance. Director Bud Yorkin keeps things simple. He lets the performances carry the film. There's not a lot of stylistic flourishes here, but restraint that works in the film's favor. Maybe save some fashion choices, but again, it was the 80s. Love the 80s. But the focus stays on characters supported by a subtle score from Pat Metheny that never overpowers the emotion. So it's nice. As for box office and awards, Twice in a Lifetime earned $8.4 million domestically, and there was no international release, so that was its worldwide take. Critically, the response is a bit mixed. A very small sample of critic reviews landed with an 83% on the tomato meter, but a 54% on the popcorn meter from over 500 audience reviews. Award season-wise, the film picked up 3 major nominations. It had the Oscar nod for Madigan for Best Supporting Actress, and then at the Golden Globe Awards, Madigan was also nominated in the supporting category, and Hackman was nominated for Best Actor in a Drama. Look, this one is a fairly well-made film. I appreciated the authenticity, the multiple viewpoints presented. While it doesn't, necessarily stand out stylistically, the performances, especially Madigan, make this film worth a watch. Twice in a Lifetime is a 3-star film for me. It's a just good, middling lane. If you're inspired to check it out, it is currently available for digital rental or purchase. And that's it for episode 6 of season 3 of Oscar Rewind. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments. Do you prefer films that stick to one perspective, or ones that show the ripple effects like this one? Please follow me on all social media platforms and Letterboxd, and check out more cinematic content on my website, cinephilemike.com. I'll see you all for the next rewind, but until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.